What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to a brand new video. In today's video, I'm going to be discussing why PAC is the worst position at an Amazon fulfillment center. Now, in my last video, I explained that I did train for PAC on my second week of peak. I finally trained for PAC for the first time, and my experience wasn't the best. I'm going to get straight into that now though, and I'm going to give 5 reasons on why I think PAC is pretty much the worst stationary position at Amazon. And that's going to start off with reason number 1. Everything feels so outdated. The technology that is used there, the way that we work, the screens, everything like that feels super outdated. I'll go through this one quickly because it doesn't really need much more explanation than that. But one of the reasons I can say why it's outdated is that the screen. There's no touch screen. And that, for me, for someone who's worked in pick and stow, where the screens are big and touchscreen and very, very easy to navigate and use, it's very, very frustrating and annoying to have to go to the little buttons on this tiny screen. I don't really have much of a problem with the tiny screen. It's just the fact that it's not touchscreen and you have to use buttons that are very complicated to use if you don't really know how to use them. Once you get used to them, they do get a bit easier, but it's also just really, really annoying having to get used to that. I feel like they should have implemented some type of touchscreen type of deal already by now. And then another thing that's really annoying is that the umbrella training on that screen, you can't really get past it if you're still training. And even when you're finished training, you can't skip past it because the way the buttons work and stuff, you all who have been working at PAC and who've already trained might not know what I'm talking about anymore because it's been so long. But for me, I still have the umbrella training like when you're on your first 2 days, and it won't go away. It won't let me click it off the screen, and it's really, really annoying. So sometimes I get stuck and I have to just completely log off the screen and log back in. The technology just feels really outdated. You know, some of the stuff that we do there just feels outdated compared to pick and stow, where everything feels a lot newer. I definitely do feel like PAC should get an upgrade on their equipment and the way that they work, because it definitely does feel a lot slower. It doesn't feel like the best method that they could possibly use for PAC. I just feel like things need to be upgraded there. It makes outbound just feel really, really old compared to stow and pick, which feel like years ahead of them. So I definitely do think that everything feels outdated, and that's one of the reasons on why I don't think that it is a good position at Amazon. But my number 2 reason, and also I should have said this in the beginning, but this is just things that are related to my location specifically. For those of you who have worked PAC elsewhere, you might not be able to relate to this at all. Again, I make these videos from my experience at my location. Not everyone's experience is the same. But with that being said, the second reason that I do not like PAC is that the water spiders do not do anything at all. They do not do anything, and it is infuriating. Again, maybe this is just my location, or maybe all of the locations are like this, but for my location specifically, the water spiders at my job in PAC, they do literally nothing. I worked PAC for 4 days, and I had so many different stations, and I worked with so many different water spiders, and maybe out of the like 15 different times that I worked PAC in different stations, maybe only 1 or 2 water spiders actually took their job serious. The other water spiders, they don't do anything. They don't help you. They just walk around and talk because they're not being labor tracked. So they just walk around and talk, hang out. They go chill and chat with their friends. They just go walk around and talk to whoever they know, and they don't actually do anything. And it's super infuriating because water spiders in PAC are supposed to stack up all your boxes, you know, make sure you're always filled on boxes. They're supposed to make sure you're filled on the little bubble wrap things. They're supposed to make sure that you have those constantly and that your little machine is working. You know, they're supposed to fix the machines for you if any of them go down. And pretty much that entire time, none of that happened. So the entire time I was working PAC, every time that I ran out of boxes, I had to go find them on my own. And that's horrible for somebody who's brand new at PAC. I had to go find them on my own. It takes up a lot of time to actually go out there and navigate and find a specific box size that you need. And it sucks because they don't do anything, so they're not refilling your boxes ever throughout the entire shift. So throughout the entire shift, you're constantly doing this whenever you run out of boxes. And it is infuriating, super, super annoying that the water spiders are there to do their job and they don't even do their job. It has been very awful for me. And again, maybe this is just my location, but the water spiders have not been helpful at all. The bubble wrap thing that is above you on like a little overhead thing where you're supposed to, you know, grab it, rip off some bubble wrap, put it inside the boxes and close the box. Most of the time that stuff isn't even there, or the machine behind the little rack isn't working, and it's so annoying because that's the water spider's job to fix it. And even if you've pressed the blue light, like I remember one day when I got there, the machine wasn't working and the blue light was already turned on. It took like 3 hours for a water spider to come and fix it, and that is absurd. For 3 hours for that light to be on and you finally come and fix it, it's absurd. I have had a bad experience with water spiders in PAC. Maybe this is just my location specifically, but I can definitely say that the water spotters don't do their jobs. And in pack, we pretty much have to water spotter for ourselves throughout the entire shift. And that is annoying because I'm used to in stow where the water spotters at least do some type of job, at least do some sort of work, and the managers are constantly on them to do their work. So it's a lot more of a work hard situation over there. And it's not like that in pack. Now, the number 3 reason on why I hate pack, and this one is just, it's nonsensical and extremely infuriating for me, especially someone who's came from stow and pick, is that you don't work at the same station every day for the whole day. For whatever reason, you don't do that. You have to come get a new station at the beginning of every single period. And that to me is so dumb. Because in stow and pick, once you get your station for the day, you are there for the entire day. You stay there for the entire day. For whatever reason, in outbound, you get a new station after every period. So once the next period is there, you have to go get your new station. You have to look at the little screen board and see, okay, where am I going to be working today? And then you work there for 3 hours, and then you get to your next period. And at the beginning of your next period, you have to go back to that board and see, let's see where I'm going to be working today now. And it's super, I don't understand it. Why didn't they make it to where you just work at one station for the entire day? It's a lot more organized. It would just make the shift go by easier, and it would also make it to where everyone doesn't have to worry about where they're going to be during the next period, so they can just get straight back to their station and start working immediately. And that saves a lot of time, and that gets a lot of more work put out. So I don't really understand why, and maybe this is just something that I don't know. Maybe there is a really specific reason for this. Maybe I just don't know it. But for me, it's super annoying that we don't work the same station throughout the entire day. Every single day you get back from break, or once you arrive, you have to get a new station. And that to me is just, it's dumb. It doesn't make any sense, because in stow and pick, you just keep the same station throughout the entire day, which makes a lot more sense. It's also annoying because there's so many people waiting for stations that if you're on your scan to scan break, you're gonna get break compliance because you're waiting there for a station. It makes no sense. I can go on forever about that, but I won't. It just makes no sense. Number 4 on why I hate pack, and this one really isn't too bad. It's not really like a major problem, but the stations are so low to the ground, like where you actually build the boxes, they're so low to the ground that I'm not even tall at all, but it hurts my back and like neck looking down to that little thing for the entire day. I'm only 5'9", so I'm definitely not tall by any means, but to have to be looking down so far and pretty much bending my back down to build boxes and put items in boxes and, you know, pack them away and send them off, it actually hurts my back and neck a little bit. And again, I'm not even tall at all, which is really annoying, because, you know, you should have the stations built for at least a little bit higher. I know they're short, like super short people, but I think it could be raised at least a little bit higher, because if I'm 5'9" and I'm struggling with my back bending downwards, that must suck for a lot of guys who are like 6 feet or taller. It's really annoying. And then another thing too is that it's not like it's only built for short people, because then the walls where they have the bins where you're supposed to pick the items from and put them inside of the boxes and pack away, those bins are pretty tall too. So there's a lot of short people that I see that I've actually had to, throughout my time in pack, at least once per day, I've had to help somebody actually reach the very top bin and get it. And it's usually like really short people who I have to help do that. So it's not like it's built for short people only, because they struggle to get that top bin. It's not really built for anyone. It's really weird and infuriating, because it hurts my back, and then short people are struggling to get the really like high up stuff, and it's kind of just annoying. It's just something that bugs me a little bit. So that's the number 4 reason. Again, not that big of a deal, but it's something to mention, at least something worth mentioning. The number 5 reason, this one is like the worst, honestly, the most infuriating, the most annoying thing about working at pack, and that is that they talk way too much in outbound. So for those who have never worked inbound before, you're already used to this, but for those who have never worked inbound, we don't have speakers. There's no speakers to talk on. If the managers have something to say, they will send it on your computer screen, or they'll come tell it to your face. In outbound and pack and all that stuff, and I remember when I was in stow and I was on the west side of the building, which is closer to outbound, I would hear them talk all day, and I'd be like, damn, like, why do y'all talk so much? Because they have speakers over there. So the managers are just sitting there on the mic, constantly talking throughout the entire shift. And I was just like, damn, like, I would hate to be over there. Why do y'all talk so much? But I was like, maybe it's not that bad if you're actually over there. And then I actually went over there, and it's bad. Like, they sit there and talk throughout the entire shift. the managers are constantly on the mic, and of course outbound, for whatever reason, has speakers everywhere, so you can clearly hear them no matter where you're at in outbound, especially if you're packing. And they are talking throughout the entire shift. They are constantly saying people's rates. They are telling water spiders to do something. They are telling packers to stop doing this, stop doing that. They're yelling at people. They're getting mad. They're doing this throughout the entire shift, and oh my gosh, it is so annoying. From someone who came in inbound where they just leave you alone and don't talk to you throughout the entire shift, and you were just working on your own, it is actually frustrating to be working the whole time and just have them constantly yelling on the intercoms, like constantly yelling throughout the entire day, saying people's rates, again, like saying exactly what I said. And a lot of times they're just getting after people. They're like, packers, stop doing this, stop doing that. And if you watch my last video, what's really annoying about it is that we're all new pretty much. All of us packers, like at least 50 to 60% of us are new. So it's very, very annoying that they're sitting here yelling at us when we're brand new. And it's just, like, I don't know how, if you're in outbound and if you're in pack specifically, or just outbound in general, I literally do not know how you have survived more than a couple of days working there with them constantly yelling over the mic. I am so glad that inbound doesn't have a mic, and I hope that inbound never ever gets a speaker or anything like that, because that is the last thing we need, is our managers yelling over the intercom the entire time. It would literally, like, I know everyone has the announcements at school, like you remember like in middle school, high school and all that stuff, where if the principal had to say something, they would announce it over the intercom. It's like that, but they're doing that every 5 to 10 minutes. Like imagine you're just doing your schoolwork, or you're doing a test or something at school, and then the principal comes and says blah 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 and just talks for like 5 minutes straight. It is so frustrating. It is literally that is 100% my least favorite thing about PAC, is that they have speakers and the managers just will not shut up. They're like DJ Khaled trying to play the quiet game. It is so annoying, bro. Like, y'all don't understand how much this infuriated me while working there. I'm sorry to rant, but my pack experience has been horrible, especially because of that. Especially because they are so loud and they do not stop talking. I knew it was going to be bad when I was in Stowe and I heard that, and I heard them talking throughout the entire time, and I was thinking in my mind, like, shut up, why are you talking so much? But now that I've actually experienced it firsthand, it's awful. I don't see how people do it. If you're an outbound worker, bro, like, big props to you, because I seriously don't see how you've done it, especially for like more than a day, or like more than a week basically, because it's awful to hear that all day long. But I mean, that's pretty much it. Those are 5 of the reasons that I hate working pack and why I think outbound is just trash in general, honestly. I honestly do have a couple of positives, or a few positives, on why I do think that pack is better than inbound still, and better than inbound in general, because there are some pretty decent things that I like about pack. And I will probably get to that in a future video when I either compare positions or just talk about pack again in general, maybe some pros and cons about pack, anything like that. But those are just my complaints about pack. Of course, I do have some positives. I do have a lot of positives about pack, honestly. It's not extremely awful, but it is pretty bad, but especially compared to the other positions. But I mean, with that being said, I'm gonna end that video there, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you're in pack or outbound in general, let me know down in the comments below what your experience is like, and if you can relate to anything that I said, and how do you like outbound compared to inbound if you've worked both. Let me know down in the comments below. With that being said, I'm gonna end that video there, guys. So thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you all on the next one, and I love you all. Oh wait, subscribe if you didn't, but I love you all. Peace.